everyone, welcome to another stock analysis video of FFL 24/7. Today we are going to be taking another look at PayPal stock. This video is going to have a very few couple of updates that I want you guys to pay very close attention to. So let's get into the video and see what those details are. So what we have been tracking is this a downward falling wedge that we have been tracking very nicely so far. As you guys can clearly see that PayPal has been trending in this wedge very nicely. So we have been hitting the bottom and the peak of this falling kind of wedge very nicely pretty much all the time, and they have been trying to drag the price all the way down. So if you guys have watched my previous videos, so to me it looked like they would try to hit around the $44 and $45 mark as like pretty much an ultimate bottom price for PayPal. So they have tried their very best to push the price downward to that level, but so far they have not been successful in doing that. And the reason is this bottom downtrend line that PayPal has been riding very nicely. So it is obviously in the downward direction, but it has been kind of acting as some kind of support as well. As you guys can very clearly see, we have hit it quite a few times, like 1 2 3 4 5 6, and this time around it was the 7th time we were about testing this trend line for a support, but we broke down below. The reason was also coinciding with the overall market also crashing, and SPY also took a big dump. But the reason we are doing this video is I want you guys to pay again very closer look. So let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see clearly here. So this is our trend line, right? So we did break down below it, and apparently they did scare out a lot of people and a lot of investors out of PayPal, and most people were convinced that PayPal is going to be heading towards the $44 mark, and we have more downside potential. But look at how beautifully PayPal has bounced back, and the reason is obviously the earnings. Their earnings have been so far over the last couple of quarters been very impressive. And this time around as well, in this recent quarter, they have reported 20% increase in year-on-year earning. So around $1.3 per share. So comfortably exceeding estimates of $1.3 per share estimates. And also in the earnings call, we have heard about some very positive development that they have finally filled out their CFO vacancy with the Jamie Miller. And also now we have the clarity that we have a new permanent CEO, Alex Chris. And the new CEO has been making efforts to make amends with the investors, what they want to hear, and maybe do something to build back their share price back up again. So again, look at how closely and how nicely these guys have been playing around this downtrend line, guys. They broke down below it, and we have successfully broken back above it. And now, so this red candle that you guys are seeing, so some people might be thinking, oh, we are seeing a downward movement again towards PayPal as well. But this red candle that we are seeing in here, this is a very important and a bullish indicating candle. You might ask why, because whenever we pass back above a certain trend line that is especially acting as a support, it is very critical for investors and the stock market, financial institutions and the traders to figure out if this trend line, if this support is going to hold in the future. So with this big red candle, they have actually tested this as a support. They did try to break down below it again, but the investors pushed it back above this trend line, and we are again holding this trend line so far very nicely. So what happens in the next coming few days is going to be very, very exciting. And again, the reason is we want to see this trend line holding as a support, and we start building the price back up. Again, we have earnings to support up the back case of the stock price going up, because we have been trending very nicely. And PayPal has also increased the guidance for 2023 earnings from 3.57 to 3.75, very confident. So the company itself is showing a very strong confidence in their growth potential. So that is always a very good sign for the big investors. And last but not the least, the second most important factor that might be helping us push the stock price back above is that PayPal has shown again continuing strength and confidence in their own stock, and they have been doing the buybacks almost every quarter. So if you guys pay attention to the most recent buybacks, these are like a March quarter and the June and September. So they have been steadily buying back 1.44 billion dollars of their own shares back up. So again, we are also expected to see around 1.5 billion dollars of buyback by and before the end of this year in December, because that will end the fourth quarter, and almost as what they have been estimated, around 5 billion dollars buyback they had to do. So again, think about it, guys. If they are going to be buying at these lower prices, their stock buyback, so they are going like a whole big chunk of shares back, and excluding this from the circulating supply of stocks in the open market. So that is obviously going to put an upward pressure on the stock price if there is a demand. So recently PayPal is definitely seeing some competition for coming in from Apple Pay. The decrease of interest in PayPal stock price is also related to the popularity of Apple Pay. If you guys have been noticing, Apple Pay is also becoming recently very popular, and Square is another company that has been doing the merchant and payment processing. So they are also taking up a whole big chunk of business out of PayPal. But PayPal is still a kind of a legend and a veteran in this field. So slowly but surely, obviously, they will be bouncing back, and the newer companies and the newer merchant processors, they are going to have to buckle up their game to have increased competition with PayPal. And obviously PayPal also has to step up their game. So compared to Apple Pay, they are still having some issues compared to, for example, Amex and PayPal and MasterCard and Visa. So getting back to the chart, guys, again, it is going to be very interesting to see how this trend line behaves in the next upcoming few weeks. And there is another very strong development happening on a short-term chart basis. Let me show you real quick. Let me zoom in a little bit more and switch to the 4-hourly chart. So if you notice this 4-hourly chart, so if you guys notice, so we are trying to kind of forming a cup and handle on the 4-hourly chart, and that is basing up on this trend line. So if we do bounce back above this trend line, this is going to make a very beautiful cup and handle pattern on the 4-hourly short-term chart analysis, and that will put us very nicely around the $60 to $62 price target for PayPal if this do break out. And again, that will also put a very strength and positive movement coming back into the stock. So that was all about the PayPal stock analysis for today, guys. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.